everybody. Today we're going to start our animal drawings, and the first animal family we're going to cover today is the rodent family, followed by the cat family, the dog family, and then on Friday I'm going to do the bird family. When we're talking about rodents, there's lots of different rodents that belong in this family. We're going to first start off with squirrels, a simple mouse, a rat, and then my personal favorite, the chinchilla. This is my favorite because I actually have two chinchillas, and they are very cool. When it comes to drawing rodents, they all have a pretty similar structure to them. It all really breaks down to the gesture of the head, the gesture of the body, and the gesture of the tail. So starting off with the squirrel, you want to consider the gesture of the head. This will start off looking like a circle, but then it will have a snout coming out. This is where its nose and mouth area will be. So I'm going to go over that again. Circle, and then bring it out, kind of like an extension onto the side here. After you decided that, you want to give it a certain length, so make it a little bit taller, and decide where the middle of your body will go. So squirrel's body tends to be a little bit roundier. The more you can move that out, the better. So another circle for the body, and then their leg will also be rounded. Like most rodents, their foot is going to come from underneath. I'm going to now block in the gesture of the tail, making it move outward as much as I want to. Now squirrels have a bushy tail. This is something to keep in mind when you're drawing your squirrel. And then I know that their arms are usually close to their face, and their hands are relatively small to their body. So I'm going to put their hands close to their mouth, and they usually are chewing on something. So that's one hand, and then here's hand number two. Their feet are long and extend out. Here's one side, and then the other. You want to add those ears in there, which tend to go outward this way and this way. Their eyes are really big and tend to slant outward. Just like when we're doing a person, they're reflective, so add a little bit of highlight. Their noses will look a lot like bunnies in the way that it's typically just looks like a V, or like a little triangle. And then from here on out, it's really just about adding texture. So whatever gesture you chose for your tail, maybe let me get that a little bit out of the way here. That's the texture, the gesture that you will follow when adding those hairs. Because now the hairs is really going to be what brings our rodent together here. The direction of the hair. So I'm going to quickly go over the outline of my squirrel and only go over lines I want to keep. Now they don't have sharp claws, they're a little bit more roundier. So that's the leg, the underbelly, the arm in the front. Oopsie daisy. He's eating something, I'm not sure. And then the other hand, give that face another good tracing. Decide where the ear is going to tuck in. And you want to play with patterns. Just like all creatures, there are things that make them unique. So a squirrel will typically have a few patterns on its body. Consider where they will be. So for example, the squirrel, they might have a design around their eye, for example. Something that makes it stand out from other squirrels. Here's its other foot. Maybe it's standing on a branch. And thinking through pattern and hair growth. What direction is the hair growing? So this hair is growing this way. The hair on its leg can be growing another way. And then the tail is going to branch out. And I'm adding long hairs and short hairs. We want that organic, which means very natural look. We don't want it to look forced. And from here, you just push the value. Think about areas where you can go really dark, such as the eye. Now that I have that locked in, I can darken the nostril. Maybe the area where the arm meets the leg, where the tail is closest to the body. All these areas where you can push the value will help your rodent look extra, extra realistic. And that is how you do a squirrel. Moving on to a mouse. When you're drawing a mouse, you're going to follow a very similar format to the squirrel, where you'll first start off with its brain, its noggin, with a circle, extend out, not too much, we're not doing a rat here, so decide how far its snout will extend. After you extend the snout, the direction of the mouse's body should be hunched over, and you block in that area with a big oval. And decide the gesture of the tail. After you are done deciding all these things, it's time to draw in the arms and legs, which will really help you with the mouse's shape. The mouse will have long legs extending and tucked under the body here. I'm going to go rather slowly. 1, 2, 3, and it extended out. The front legs extend forward like so. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do as much of that of the hands as you can, and get those on the other side and legs. After you're done with your mouse's body, you do the ears, which, as you know, extend out on top of the head. They're slightly larger. Similar to the squirrel eye, you're looking for a kind of tear drop shape. Add in that reflective light. Add in the mouth, the nose. The nose should be rather rounded. Erase those guidelines as you go along. You will think through a pattern for your mouse as well. Add some whiskers. And then, just like we did with the squirrel, tracing the outside. And then erase all the lines you don't want to keep. This will give you a really clear idea on what will stay and what needs to go. And there you have it, is your mouse. A way to make this look even more realistic is, again, pushing the value, thinking through the hair growth, what areas are light, what areas are dark. I still really like picking a light source when it comes to drawing every creature. It really can bring it to the next level and make it look like it's in realistic space. So I'm darkening the area where the body meets the head. I'll darken some areas in the ears, not too much. Too much is too much. I'm gonna add some value to the other ear. I'm extending out my mouse's face and just doing what I think feels right. Maybe this mouse closer to the snout is white. Okay, and there you have it. Tail looks a little bit, it goes thick, then thin, then thick, then thin. It should just go from thick to thin. So if that's happening, it should not get any thicker. So it just started off this thin. It's getting thinner and thinner until it reaches the end. And that is how you do a mouse. Doing a rat is a little bit different, only in the way that you're going to start off the shapes and the size the shapes end up being. Some look-fors with a rat include a longer face, a longer, thicker tail, and just an overall larger body. When you're starting off with that head, you want to make it a little bit more triangular to start off with of a snout, and a little bit longer of a noggin here, so kind of an oval and a longer snout with a flattened nose bridge. So if you see here, it kind of goes like down and then up, like kind of cutesy like. A rat will be a little bit more straight here, scooping down and over. A little bit thicker of an appearance that we're looking for here. There's going to be smaller of ears as well, and just an overall larger body. So thinking about how I'm going to fit the larger body, I might scoop it down. Understand it does goes over in a little slouch or a hump. Drawing this rat's body out. Here's where its leg is going to go, its leg area, its stomach area. Similar to mice, the hands, they protrude out, means stick out, and go onto the floor. Draw as many of those fingers as you can. Really get that hunch in there. So I'm gonna have to move my mouse over a little bit. And that leg. The arms and legs are gonna typically be a little bit bigger. Getting in that thicker tail. Not only will the tail be thicker, it is also going to have a worm-like texture where you're adding those horizontal lines. Go with the flow. So whatever angle your tail's going in is the angle your tail's design is also traveling. Adding in that value, always, always. I'm gonna add in some strong value here over onto the leg. On the underbelly, that's where I'll see my shadows. Tracing over those lines I want to keep. I'm just going to do a regular design, regular hairs, colored in where just the regular fur goes. The ears will be a little bit smaller than the mouse in relation to the head size. So getting those ears in there, blocking them out. Scooping the nose, getting in your lemon or football shaped eye. Again, add that highlight. Darkening the underside of the head and erasing any lines that you do not want to keep. There you have it, drawing of a rat. Last but not least, we are going to draw a chinchilla. The chinchilla is very important to me because I have two chinchillas, so this makes this rodent very special. When I am drawing the chinchilla, it is going to start off with a few basic shapes. When I'm drawing my chinchilla, it's going to start off with a few very basic shapes. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so that we have enough room. It is more of a rounded shape to start. extend your snout. It's a slightly rounded snout. Bring it out, like so. Make a big kind of teardrop shape. The ears are going to play a big role here. Add in that body. And remember, I'm doing a very small scale chinchilla so that you will be able to see. Its body is very round. In fact, they're the fluffiest, most furriest animals. So they really have a lot of hair. Decide the gesture of the tail. How far will it stick out? How long? And then you can start adding in the long feet, okay? So 1 foot here. Like a squirrel, you'll typically see a chinchilla standing upright, holding things in the little hands. So I'm going to add the little hands. Little treats, things that they find. Much smaller than the feet, you'll notice. The feet are very long, actually very large. And get the other side. And here's where the ears come in. Really add those ears in. They are bigger than the squirrel's ears, the mouse's ears, and the rat's ears in size. Block them in. The nose kind of goes in a line, like so. You can add those long, long, long whiskers, longest whiskers. And the eye. I'm adding that reflected light. If anything doesn't sit quite right, look well to me, I'm going to go in and fix it. When you are adding things, always think it through. What looks great? What can make it look better? And really making that happen. Again, decide on the pattern of this creature. Not all chinchillas look the same, in the same way that not all rats, squirrels, or mice look the same. So thinking through your animal's texture and design is very important to making your animal. Outline of your animal will definitely help. And branch out and add on to your tail. The tails, just like squirrels, are bushy, bushy tails, and they stick out like so. And there you have it. We just drew 4 different kinds of rodents: a squirrel, a mouse, a rat, and a chinchilla. If you know me, you know I love animals, and I'm really looking forward to this series with you all. Come back next time to learn how to draw animals from the cat family. Thank you for joining.